The man took a photo of his wife, but in the picture she was wearing a fur coat. They thought it was a camera malfunction. Just then, his wife pulled out a coat from an antique chest, ran to the window, struck a pose, and the result was exactly the same as in the photo. The man was stunned. They decided to try again. This time, his wife took a picture of the front door. In the photo, a young man was pushing the door open. It was the woman's brother, but he couldn't possibly be there. He had been arrested and sentenced to 10 years in prison. The man thought this antique camera was strange. Just then, the door handle moved, and it was indeed the woman's brother. He had escaped from prison to visit his sister. The couple was so astonished they couldn't speak because his pose was exactly the same as in the photo. The three discussed it. The man said this camera could take pictures of what would happen in 2 minutes. They decided to use it for something big. Just as they were imagining their future, the brother turned on the TV, which was broadcasting horse racing. The man excitedly stood up. If the camera could capture what happened 2 minutes later, they would definitely win. They emptied their pockets and went to the racetrack. After arriving at the racetrack, the three timed it perfectly and took a photo of the scoreboard. Soon, they saw the race results. Horse number 6 won. The man ran to place his bet. The race began. Horse number 6 started slowly, but accelerated near the finish line and won. They shouted excitedly. The scoreboard was exactly the same as in the photo. Now they had serious capital, and they decided to bet again. They just needed to take a photo before the race started, and the money would be theirs. They continued this way, round after round, with bigger and bigger bets. All the photos were accurate, and they counted money until their hands cramped. That night at home, the man directly ordered a sports car. With this camera, they had finally escaped poverty. At this point, a waiter came over to clear the table. He curiously fiddled with the camera on the table. The man told him to be careful not to break it. The waiter said that after taking 10 photos, the camera wouldn't work anymore. What did this mean? Written on the camera was that each owner could only take 10 photos. The man was terrified and sent the waiter away. They started calculating. They had taken 2 test shots in the room and 6 at the racetrack. They only had 2 chances left. The man decided to do something big tomorrow. His wife wanted to save it for later, and the brother said he wanted to sell the camera. They started arguing. During the argument, they accidentally pressed the button and wasted another photo. The man was very angry. When the photo developed, it showed his wife appearing to scream. Why was she screaming? Because someone was trying to harm her husband. The man pulled out a knife. Since the camera showed something terrible was about to happen, he figured he'd better strike first. He pushed his wife aside and went toward her brother. They fought near the window. Soon, in their struggle, both men fell out the window together. At this moment, the woman's pose was exactly the same as in the photo. Losing both her husband and brother left her heartbroken, but she quickly pulled herself together. She gathered up the money from the table, then picked up the camera and walked to the window. She whispered, "May they rest in peace," planning to take the money and leave. Just then, the waiter burst in. He had been eavesdropping on their conversation the whole time. The waiter grabbed the money from the table. The woman wanted to call the police, but the waiter said she had been harboring a fugitive, so the police would come for her first. So he took all the money and even grabbed the woman's purse. He held up the photo and said there wouldn't be just 2 bodies down there. The woman tried to walk to the window but tripped over a cable. There weren't just 2 bodies on the ground. 1, 2, 3, 4.